All right, Hammers, here you are in this year's CrossFit Games quarterfinals. You have 2 events per day that are going to run from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, if I can give you one tip throughout this, especially if you're competing to submit a score, absolutely make sure you pay attention to that deadline and submission, and make sure you read over those rules, regulations, and details as much as possible, just so that stuff is taken care of and it's out of the way and you can focus on the fun part, the working out. Because you don't have to deal with this guy, the head judge himself, Adrian Bosman. You want all good reps, and we'll talk more about that in a second. Now, regardless if you're submitting a score or you're chasing a qualifying spot in the online rankings, or you're just jumping in on the fun to test yourself and see where your fitness is at, and you're not even too concerned about the online rankings, there are a couple things that you can think about in order to make these quarterfinals a little bit more exciting, but also a little bit more valuable to you as an athlete. Now, first things first, like I said, the little things. You want to make sure that you understand the difference between a competitor and an athlete. Now, you're all athletes, and I know if you're listening to this, you feel competitive. But one of the things the competitors do exceptionally well is that they pay attention to the details. Now, most of us haven't trained all year long with all of the little details like setting up tape, making sure the camera has the movements in frame, making sure that we hit those precise range of motions. Sometimes that stuff just gets lost in the fray as we're just going after it in our workouts. So what I want to make sure you do in order to get the most out of this is read those range of motion standards, those movement standards, and read the standards to set up those workouts properly. There's a lot of details in each workout as far as where we should start, where we should perform movements, and how far certain pieces of equipment should be away from each other. So make sure you pay attention to those details to just step your game up the littlest bit. The next thing I want you to think about is as you enter every single one of these quarterfinal workouts is try to do all the setup before you even start warming up. This gets really manic, especially if you've never done this before. If you're a first-time qualifier or you're just getting into this competitive world, you want to make sure that you're able to compartmentalize each part of this quarterfinal workout. The way I like to think about it is when I walk into the gym, I'm just going to spend time setting up my space, getting out my equipment, setting up all those tapes, making sure that my equipment is spaced out properly, and making sure I have the right equipment. After that, I'm going to let that stuff sit. Then I'm going to set up my warm-up equipment in a completely separate space if possible. Now again, the reason I want to do that is I want to be able to focus on as little as possible as I move toward this workout. Once I get everything set up, once I have those details set up and I know that I'm in frame for all the movements and I have my warm-up gear set up, then we're going to start going through that warm-up. Now for today's workout, quarterfinal number 1, you have for total time 3 rounds, 10 strict handstand push-ups, 10 dumbbell hang power cleans, 50 pounds, 35 pounds, and then you have 50 double unders. After you finish 3 rounds of that, you're going to rest 1 minute, 3 rounds of 10 kipping handstand push-ups, 10 dumbbell shoulder to overheads, and then again 50 double unders. You use the same weight dumbbell for the second workout as you do for the first. Now, I just got done testing this one and I learned a couple of things. With all my time in doing CrossFit, I got deceived once again. This one looks very simple on paper, but it can be really surprising for a couple of reasons. One, it totally baits you to go fast. Regardless of your fitness level, once you're past those 10 strict handstand push-ups, you're gonna wanna stomp on the gas pedal. Now that's totally fine. I think to see a top score in this workout, you wanna be able to hang on for large sets, if not unbroken, and you need to be able to push the pace. Now that being said, here's something I would think about. If you're gonna do this earlier in the day or at some point this evening, what you wanna think about doing is maybe just testing out 1 round. What does it feel like to move through the handstand push-ups, rip through those dumbbell hang power cleans, and then move through those double unders? One of the things that caught me in this workout was just how much my shoulders were fatigued on the double unders. I had more mess-ups there than I really expected. So that's gonna lead me to point number 1. Plan to have those double unders not feel quite perfect. That's totally okay, but just understand if you do trip up, take a deep breath, reset those hands, start off with a couple single unders, and then get right back into your double under count. It's okay if you mess up, you can get back on it and get back to your pace. Now, another big thing. So once you get that test run out of the way, the other thing here is use strategy to your advantage. If you are an athlete who is capable of doing more than 15 strict handstand push-ups in a row, I would challenge you to get through the first 2 rounds of your strict handstand push-ups unbroken. And then in your last round, don't push to that rep of failure. This is really crucial, whether you're the best handstand push-up athlete in the world or you're new to this movement and you're just praying to get through the first couple sets. Make sure you don't go to that rep of failure. Rest if you need to with 1 or 2 reps in the tank. That's gonna be crucial in the first half of this workout. Now, if you know you struggle with those handstand push-ups, that's gonna be your pacer and that's gonna be your built-in rest. I'm a huge fan, if possible, of descending rep schemes. So if you're someone who has max set of 10 strict handstand push-ups in a row, what I would do is maybe 2 to 3 reps to start and then continue to work through sets of 2 to 3 reps with a quick rest and try to stick to a rest schedule. So you'll want to set up a clock that you can see or have a buddy near you who can give you an update on your time so you don't rest too long. Now, if strict handstand push-ups are absolutely not your jam, try to do ones at a time just to chip away through those strict handstand push-ups. Then when you get past those, you get back to those dumbbell hang power cleans, you can absolutely rip those things and try to hang on for the double unders. Now, strategy for the second half of this workout. I was actually really surprised as well at how tough those dumbbell shoulder presses were. Now, I really like gymnastic stuff. I don't love shoulder to overhead weightlifting stuff. They were a little bit more challenging for me. So some things that helped me get through that second 3-rounder was some of the same strategies that helped me in the first one. If you know you're somebody who's capable of 15 or more kipping handstand push-ups in a row, you can probably push to get these unbroken. Again, same rule applies. Don't go for that struggle rep. If you find yourself and you think you're about to have to arch your back, old banana back handstand push-up, rest there. Don't go to that rep of failure because the amount of time you'll have to rest if you fail a rep is a lot. Now, the dumbbell shoulder to overheads. Obviously, the push press is gonna be our fastest movement to get those overhead. That being said, the dumbbell is better spent time in your hand than on the ground. What I mean by that is, and what I did on my last 2 sets is on reps 9 and 10, I squeaked out a tiny little push jerk. Don't forget how powerful that movement efficiency can be. We get a little punch drunk in the middle of the workout, and sometimes we think that I'll just keep doing push press even though they're impossible. Try to use that push jerk instead of relying on putting those dumbbells down. Then again, start those double unders off nice and smooth, and then work your way through those. Now, my last tip for you guys is that just as old Adrian Bosman here is showing us, reps really matter in our qualifiers, right? It's different than if I'm just hammering in some training and I'm getting through some work and I'm just pushing hard and we know we're getting fitter. Here, the rep quality really matters, the range of motion really matters, and the standard matters. Don't get no reps. Why? Because a no rep will cost you almost as much energy as doing the full rep, and then you're gonna have to do another one on top of that. They're really costly for us in terms of competing. We'll lose valuable seconds. So in the chance that you're thinking, hey, should I speed up and risk getting no rep or slow down a little bit, maybe pause for a second and get all good reps, I would err on the side of good reps. All right, so that's what we got for our first test in the quarterfinals. Good luck, congratulations, get out there, work hard, and have fun.